Sanbonani, Dumelang, Abusheni, Ishikani, Imadambula Manene. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. My name is Sophia Butomimburi, Yakachamala, and welcome back to Second Chances with Sophia V. I hope that you've been good. I hope that your family has been good. I surely hope that everyone that you care about has been good, because I honestly have not been okay. My family has not been okay. My loved ones have not necessarily been okay. And that is why I decided to do this video today. Just this morning I saw a quote by Harvey that said, if you are going through hell, keep on going. Don't stop there and unpack. I mean, why would you want to settle there? Keep on going through. Yeah, I totally butchered that quote, but basically that is the essence of the message. I have not been okay. There's been two major events that happened in the past week that really affected my mental health, and they sort of triggered my anxiety, and I thought I'd share those moments with you so that we can go through the situations together, so that hopefully someone out there can get inspired. And yeah, honestly, I want to be as real as I can. I want to be vulnerable with you, but at the end of the day, I want you to see that there is the light at the end of the tunnel, because honey, I am down, but I am definitely not out. I am so close to being 100% back to my normal self, and I'm excited to share with you so that you can get to know me a little bit better and just know that you are not alone. Without any further ado, as I've already said, there are two things that really happened that just mixed up my emotions and got me feeling some type of way. So the one event, right? So I'll just tell you the two events back to back, and we'll just take it from there, right? I don't have a set structure. We'll just take it from there. It is what it is. It is a situation. So the one situation. So if you've been on my channel for a little bit while now, you will know that I dropped out of university twice. And I failed a little bit here, I passed a little bit there. I was not quite sure what I wanted to do with my life. Eventually I went back to university the final time with the intention and with the idea, because I had done some self-introspective and I was certain as to what I wanted to be in life and how I was going to actually use the qualification. So after a bit of back and forth and what felt like a million years later, I eventually graduated, right? So with me graduating, there were a lot of opportunities that came my way, because literally a month later I got retrenched from work, and I got a pretty sweet retrenchment package. And already my plan were to further my studies and upskill myself. But even that, while I was waiting for my graduation day, I felt like I don't have the financial means to make my dreams become a reality. So as soon as I got retrenched, I decided to use the lump sum that I got, that money, to reinvest in me furthering my studies. And today is a Thursday. As I'm shooting this video, it has exactly been 7 days. It has exactly been a week. So in 2020, I really invested my time. I really invested my resources. I've been making so many sacrifices in my life. And even though every now and then, whenever I was writing tests, I would fail, I would just tutor myself and get right back to it. So I've been passing exams. Eventually, now we are on my post-grad. It's not necessarily post-grad, I'll call it upskilling myself. There's this course that I'm doing, and I feel like in terms of the goals and the plans that I've set for myself, this is the next best thing. I really worked and prepared hard, and it was this one exam that was standing in my way. So with the course, the pass mark is 80, and last week Thursday I got my results and I had failed. And not only did I fail, I failed with a 71. So for me, receiving those results, it really had me feeling sad, because I was so close. And with people saying, oh my gosh, it shows that you understand your work to a certain extent, you were so close, it really had me feeling down, really down, because in all honesty, I'm tired of being so close. I'm tired, more especially given the effort that I've put in. I don't want to be close. I just want to arrive. I want my effort to pay off, you know. I think after writing the exam, a part of me was like, maybe I didn't make it. But then another part of me was like, I'm hopeful. There's still a chance that I made it. It was not a matter of like I did not understand the work. It was more about the pass mark more than anything that really scared me. Like, will I be able to get those marks? But all in all, that's the mark that I got, and it really had me feeling down. But then I honestly had to quickly pick myself up in terms of I already dropped out of university twice previously, and I know what that felt like. I didn't move, you know. In life, one thing I've realized is that almost is not good enough. You know, you need to arrive. You need to finish what you started. And even now, you know, I quickly needed to change my mindset from you failed to let's do it again. You know, we are so close. Yes, we are so close. We want to arrive. But if I give up right now, and if I dwell so much in my failure, that is all I would have ever achieved. Almost. Close enough, failed, and that's about it. But if I keep on trying, even if I fail 3 more times, at the end of the day, I'm bound to succeed, I promise you. And it was actually a bittersweet pill to swallow, more especially because, you know, as people, you set your own goals according to your own timelines, but God has the final say. You might plan however you plan, but God has the final say. And one thing I've learned about my life is that everything happens at the right time. Whenever I'm in that situation at that particular point in time, it never makes sense. Honestly, it never makes sense. I literally fight with God like, dude, what's going on? I thought you and I had an agreement, you know. I put in the effort and you meet me halfway. Why couldn't you meet me halfway, as in like with the 9 marks, you know, that I needed to pass? But then one thing I've realized is that everything happens how it should happen, you know. Just like after I graduated, I was still thinking about like, okay, how do I take the next step? But I felt like God pushed me off. He put me off the edge, but he already had a plan for me. So yes, as I'm saying this, a special dedication to one of my wonderful subscribers. You are you're such a wonderful girl. I see you, and I'm hoping that this video will answer your question. Actually reach out to me, like, when you feel like everything in your life is going so wrong, what can you do to get yourself remotivated, you know, to get yourself motivated when you feel like God is no longer listening to you? You know, what can you do to maintain the faith, to maintain your faith and keep a relationship with God? And I've honestly it's been 2 months since I received that question, and I have honestly been avoiding answering that question. And I hope that if you listen to this video, you'll get your answer. Going back to my situation, when I graduated, God pushed me off the edge by getting me retrenched at work, and exactly 30 days later I started a new job, you know. And it was not just me getting a degree, it was just me also getting like a startup payout, because had I just resigned, that's all it would have been, resigning, you know. And at that point in time, when we were going through the retrenchment process, I think I'll do a separate video about that whole experience. It felt like, why me, God? Why? But as soon as I got the next opportunity in life, it was like, oh, okay, that makes sense. I believe that in life there is never a wasted opportunity. Everything happens in life exactly how it is meant to happen, you know. One just needs to keep the faith. What I do is I normally change my mindset. I move it from the negative. Yes, the negative happens, and it will be happening at that point in time. However, I focus on the positive. Yes, I feel, however, it's not the end of the road. I still have the means to be able to go back to school. Some people, they fall in life, but they don't have anyone to pick them up. They don't know what the next step is. However, in my case, I know what to do. I sort of know what to do. It's not the most comfortable, it's not the most convenient, but at least I'm not yet out. So yes, I'm taking a bit of a break, but definitely I will be back. I will get back up, and my plans when the time is right, the goals that I've set for myself. I believe that everything, honestly, I attract everything. I attract the right employer, I attract the right people in my life, and I believe all of that starts with the sort of energy that I channel myself from the moment that I'm still within situations, you know. I've moved away from fighting with God, and I'm just like, God, this is what I want to achieve. However, I know and trust by now that your plans are greater than whatever I could have ever imagined. So I will trust that. So I keep the faith, I keep the relationship, even though it's at the most inconvenient times. I still maintain consistency in whatever I plan to do. And in times whereby I feel like I can't pray anymore, what I normally do is I pray the Lord's Prayer. Our Father who art in heaven, amen. The one thing I do is to make sure that I always pray. Okay, let me not preach. So let me stop wandering around and go into the second situation that really happened, and that really triggered my anxiety. During just last week, right? My brother was in hospital. His wife was not feeling well. My best friend was not feeling well. Most of my friends were not feeling well. And honestly speaking, I'm one person that I have like a small group of people that I normally seek guidance from, that I consider my support system. And last week, everyone, literally everyone in my circle was down and out, and they were feeling sick. So it felt like I needed to call like a lot of people to check up on them on a daily basis, how they're doing, and it was somewhat taking a strain on me, but I was not realizing it. On the very same Thursday where I received my exam results, my mom was meant to travel to where my brother was at so that she can help them, you know, since they were not feeling well. So basically, we all stay in like 3 different provinces, and from our family home to my brother's house, it's like a 2-hour distance. And as my mom was driving there, she also started not feeling well. So as she arrived there, it meant that all the plans had to change, and she needed to travel back home because she just wasn't feeling well, and she was not going to be able to achieve whatever she went there to do. I mean, imagine having a full house of sick people and you're also coming and adding on, you know. Needless to say that I last spoke with her on Thursday around 2 p.m. when she was about to travel from Mpumalanga back to our family home, which I've already mentioned is about 2 hours drive. So later on, when I called to check up on her if she traveled safely or not, her phone was off. Now throughout the whole night, Thursday evening, I could not get hold of her. By Friday morning when I got to work, I still could not get hold of her, you know. So I asked our neighbors to check up on her if she's at home and if she is safe, because I knew that at home she was going to be alone. So as our neighbors checked, they did see that she's not at home. The doors are locked. Her car, thankfully, is not in the garage. But then I just started calling a few people, a few other neighbors at our different house to check to ask them to check if she's okay. And no one had heard or seen her. Everyone knew the last time they spoke with her, she had traveled to my brother's house. So that really got me frustrated, you know. I just panicked and I started calling people. I even called my uncle. I was like, please, wherever you are, drop whatever you're doing, drive around and make sure she's okay. Because now my mind was running wild. I'm thinking, did she get into an accident traveling the distance she was traveling? Because I knew she was also feeling a bit dizzy and she was traveling alone. Or did she get somewhere? Did she get somewhere, take a rest in the car, and maybe... Honestly, my mind was running wild. I thought that the worst had happened. And shortly after I got everyone into a panic mode, thankfully I found out that she was at my aunt's house. So what happened to me at that point in time was, when I was busy making these phone calls, right, I was very calm, but I knew that I'm at unease, you know, because I don't know where my mother is, but I was very calm. But the moment I heard my mother's voice at the other end of the line, I just broke down. It felt like my body went into shock, because almost immediately, like, my palms were sweating, my body, everything in me just let go. And I remember I was shouting at my mom, like, no, you can't do this to me, you know, you need to communicate with me. And by now, if you've been on my channel and you know my depression story, you will sort of see the pattern in my life, right? So by the end of, like, after that, I just broke down. I couldn't help myself. I just cried for a very long time, you know. So I had to step out of the office for a little while just to gather my thoughts and calm myself. And for the most part of it, I was okay, because thankfully we did not receive any bad news. But soon after that, I mean, even going back home throughout the weekend, I found that my heart was beating so fast. It felt like it's literally ready to come out of my body, you know. So there are a few things that I did to eventually calm myself down, like having the positive thoughts that I normally do have, you know, like be thankful, be grateful that she's okay. But then I also went for dark chocolate shopping, you know. I went on a chocolate shopping spree just so it can help stimulate the shock that my body had gone through, right? So once again, looking at everyone that I had contacted, my neighbors, my siblings, my aunts, my uncles, no one was reacting the same way that I did, and no one was as panicking as I was. So that also led me to sort of sit down, and I'm like, what is wrong with me? Why do I always panic as hard as I am, you know? For about 3 or 4 days after that, I felt like I was still at unease. I was so uncomfortable with myself. It felt like I'm ready to receive bad news. Like, I was so at unease, and I needed to call my mom about like 1,000,000 times so she can assure me that she's okay. And everyone in my circle that has been feeling sick, excuse me, I needed to call them. I needed that assurance that they are okay. I needed to hear from them, and my anxiety was triggered. I found ways to sort of like regulate myself and calm myself, but it wasn't a nice feeling. It honestly and truly was not a nice feeling. And even talking about it right now, it sort of like gets me upset. But I had to sit down, and I'm like, what is wrong with me, you know? And I come to a realization that, you know what, I don't know what is causing me to behave the way that I do whenever someone in my life does not communicate with me for such long periods of time, or whenever I need communication. Like, I always need to know that people that I love are okay. And it is a trend. It is a trend. If you know, you know. If you don't know, go watch my depression story. I sort of panic, and so far the people in my life have sort of accommodated me. You know, when my friends get into a new relationship, they send me pictures of the guy, they send me their location the first time they go there. Those are some of the things that I've been sort of like battling with at the back of my mind, but it is not something that I deal with on a daily basis. But there are situations like this that sort of like trigger my inner emotions, that sort of send my body into shock. So having sit down and reflecting and asking myself the question, what is wrong with me, you know, I came to a conclusion that there is absolutely nothing wrong with me, you know. We all have things that we battle with. I constantly have to remind myself that I'm not broken, but I'm flawed. This is not a bad life that I'm having. It's a phase in my life that I need to work on to get through. We all have situations. Your situation is different to mine. My situation, I know that my depression has left me with after effects of anxiety. But honestly, truth be told, I have never been on any medication, and I'm able to control it most of the time. Yes, I'm a panic wreck. Whenever my little sister travels distances or travels to a place that I know it's not safe, and she gets she's using a public transport, she knows that she always calls me. She lets me know the moment she leaves, the moment or as she's traveling, and the moment she gets there. These are some of the things that people around me sort of have to deal with. I constantly get the question, can depression be healed? And I will continue to share and say, yes, depression can be healed. However, there are certain smaller traumas or certain little things that sort of trigger you or push you back into a dark space. You need to know how you safely take yourself out. You need to constantly choose to fight. You need to constantly choose to be okay. You need to constantly do this for yourself. More than anything, this is an inner person experience. This is an inner person type of work. This is not something that a doctor, yes, to a certain extent medicine can help you, but this is something that more than anything, that during midnight when you can't get hold of anyone and you have to deal with, you need to be able to fight with your mind. You need to battle with your mind and be able to win. So it has been an emotionally exhausting last couple of days, but rest assured and trust you me when I say that I am 90% back to the person that I am. My heart has stopped beating fast. I sort of still get panicky when I get missed calls from my mom too early or too late in the evening. I still panic a little bit if I call too many times and she doesn't pick up, because I know my mother always has her phone in her hands. But it's something that is not a train smash. I'm able to function with it, but it is what it is. Yeah, so yeah, it's been a quite emotional week, but we are getting through it, and I hope that with whatever you are also going through in your life, or whatever anyone else is going through in your life, you do not give up on yourself. You constantly choose you constantly choose mental health. You constantly choose to be the best version of yourself. And yeah, it's a bad situation, not a bad life. And yes, man, there's always something good happening in your life. There's always something that is worth celebrating. And yes, I hope that you liked, enjoyed, and learned a little something from this video. Most of the time, people never post their struggles through social media. They only share their success stories. And I'm coming here and I'm like, this is me. I know that I look like a like a mess, like a train just hit me. But it's okay, man. It's okay. It's been a long day, but I strongly wanted to film this video. And yeah, so talking about good news, thank you for 1,000 subscribers. Thank you so much for constantly sharing my content, for allowing yourself to open your mind, your heart, and using your own data to constantly connect and communicate with me. I love to hear from you guys, so please do not be afraid. Let's communicate via the comment section. Let's communicate via the DMs. I will do a proper celebration. Let me first get through let me first go through hell, so when we get to the greener pastures, we'll have like a proper celebration, just for me to say thank you. And I definitely and I sure do hope that you are taking your mental health seriously. I love you.